Okay, guys, welcome back to the Crypto Wave. Got an interesting one here. Volatility.com platform's going to be coming out. It's going to be launching pretty soon. I'll tell you that date in just a moment. But I wanted to dig into it a little bit. And I apologize, I am not a trader. If anybody watches my channel, you know that. But this is a trading platform, but it's interesting and unique. It's actually going to be kind of one of the first ones I've seen that does something like this. If there's others out there, I'm not familiar with it. But in essence, it's going to allow you to trade based on the volatility of particular tokens. So what exactly does that mean? In essence, volatility is a way to describe price swings in a particular coin or particular asset. In this case, we're going to be talking crypto. So let's dig into this a little bit. Let's start with what the heck is volatility? All right, so in essence, this is from the definition from their particular, this is their frequently asked questions here, volatility.com. In essence, it's at a high level, volatility is most easily described as a statistical measure of degree of an asset's price fluctuation over time. It describes a variance or dispersion of prices given a certain time period. All right, that doesn't quite help. Let's think about this. What it's in essence saying is, as we've all seen, if you've been in crypto a little while, going over a 13, 14, 30-day average, you're going to get price swings that are going up and going down. But all in all, you're really what most people want to know is where's it going to be when I buy it today? If I buy it today with all these price swings built in, is it going to be higher or is it going to be lower when it's time for me that I want to sell or hold on to it further? What that is taking a look at is the volatility. Now we know that volatility is based on people's, in essence, FUD and fear and bullish and all these different terms that we hear. In essence, how many people are buying and how many people are selling it are going to cause those fluctuations. What volatility is actually trying to do is it's trying to gather data based on various factors. And again, you can go to their website and they pull into all the various specifics in regards to the oracles that they're going to be pulling the data from in order to coordinate this. But in essence, what they're going to do is they're going to try and take all this information and then they are creating a platform that you can utilize their tools to help analyze the volatility, and then you can purchase their particular tokens in a way almost like shorting and longing a particular price based on the volatility tools that they're utilizing. So in essence, and we'll go into it just a minute, but in reality you can in essence buy their token longing it, meaning you're going to buy the token at this particular price, and if you think it's going to be through all the volatility is going to be higher than what you bought it here 14 days later, then you are in essence longing it, and if at the end of that 14 days indeed it is higher, you can then cash that out for a higher value. Inversely, if you think that's actually going to be going down after all the volatility, you can actually buy one of their assets that actually, as it trends down over 14-day, 30-day, whatever period that they have, if it trends down and is lower than what they anticipated, then you actually will gain as well, because you in essence kind of predicted the volatility and you predicted it going down. So it's a little, it's unique. I can't wait to see some of the tools they're going to be pulling in. It's not live yet, but they are going to be doing their public sale here pretty soon. I believe it's on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. We'll go into that in a minute. But first and foremost, let's get into their token and kind of what it's meaning to represent here. All right, so they actually have two tokens, and again, they're going to have other things. There's going to be a DAO associated with this, but what we're actually looking at here is what they call Vol ETH or Volatility ETH, and Inverse Volatility ETH or iVol ETH. And what in essence what this is the two tokens. So the blue line on this particular graph, so this is actually representing the Volatility ETH, which means you can purchase the Volatility ETH or Vol ETH anticipating the price going up over a particular amount of time. In this particular case, I think they give a couple of examples, and those examples have to do with a 14-day moving average. And to my understanding, if you purchase the Volatility ETH or Vol ETH, you in essence have that for a 14-day span, hoping in fact that you did predict accurately, and in that into that 14 days you're actually higher than where you initially purchased it based on their data. Inversely related to that is the inverse vol ETH, or the I vol ETH. And what does that mean? So this is lighter blue line here. In essence, what that means is that you're actually predicting that at the end of the volatility, it's actually going to be lower than what you anticipated. But because you price predicted accurately, in essence, you shorted it based on the volatility indexes that they're going to provide, you actually will gain on that as well. So it's kind of interesting the way they're doing it, because if you actually look at these graphs, the dark and the light blue, what they're actually doing is they're directly inverse of one another. So if one goes up, and you can see it here, as one goes up, the other one's going to go down equivalent to the percentage, and vice versa, meaning this in itself is going to be kind of an indicator in regards to future price prediction, because if you start seeing as vol ETH gets purchased up, meaning people are buying it, it's going up, they're predicting the price of ETH is going to go up itself. Well, what that's actually going to do is it's going to inversely push down the inverse volume ETH, and vice versa. If people think that the price is going to be going down, they're going to be selling that vol ETH, and they're actually going to be buying that inverse vol ETH, thus predicting it's going to go down, driving down the price of vol ETH. So in reality, this is almost what they call a predictive index, and I kind of had to look into it a little bit here. And this is actually off of a different site called Investopedia, but I wanted to look up at kind of examples. It's implied volatility. And in essence, what that means is that if you are assuming that a price, in this case they use IBM, you're assuming the price when you purchase it is 151. However, at the end of this period that they give you, in this case it'll be, we'll say 14 days, you are predicting that price to be at 160. In essence, you will be then buying that you'll be buying that token in the anticipation it's going to be higher down the line. And what that's actually doing is they take this data, just like they're going to take that data with their two tokens, based on how many people are buying the vol ETH and how many people are buying the inverse vol ETH. They can actually do an implied outcome on it, and so actually use that as part of their data as well. It's really interesting. I'm hoping I'm explaining this right and I'm not rambling on here, but it was a very big learning curve for me trying to kind of gather all this information and put it all together. So well, with that said, let's get into kind of why I'm bullish, and let's get into the tokenomics, as their token sale is going to be coming online here in just a little bit. All right, so as you can see here, public sale is actually going to be on June 14th. That was correct, Monday. A couple of things that make me pretty bullish on this is, one, it's actually going to be getting launched on Sushi. And if anybody knows, in crypto, Sushi is a pretty big one. So on June 14th, when this gets launched, it's going to be immediately put into the Sushi Swap trading pool. And the way they're actually doing this is more of like an auction. So in reality, they're going to be offering up 750,000 in the public sale. And when they get, in essence, what they're going to do is they have 750,000. You can put in whatever amount of ETH that you would prefer. I don't know if there's going to be a cap. But what it basically does is at the end of the sale, which is supposed to run for 48 hours, it basically totals up the amount of ETH, divides that by the amount of vol tokens. In this case, it's 750,000. Based on that value, everybody gets a token based on the percentage of the pool that they held at the end of the auction, if that makes sense. So pretty unique. It's not groundbreaking. A lot of people have done this auction type style thing, but it does give everybody a chance to get into it. So that's pretty exciting. The other thing that I really like is they're going to take 100% of the ETH that they raised during that auction, match it with another 750,000 vol, and then that's what they're going to use to create the in essence, the liquidity pool on Sushi. So that's really exciting. And the other thing that actually makes me pretty dang bullish on this is actually the lockup period. So the team's lockup, they'll get 15%, are distributed over 208 weeks. I don't know what that equates to. It's 52 weeks in a year, so we're talking however many years that is. So I like seeing when the team locks up their stuff for a very, very long time, simply because it means that they are dedicated to the project and they're going to look for this for the long term. And that actually goes the same for the investors. So if you didn't happen to get into the pre-sale or anything of that nature, you're in the same boat. They're actually going to be locking these up for 103 weeks. So even that's going to be, 2 years basically. So that also is pretty, I just like that they're going to be locking up. So it kind of shows the long-term vision on that. So with that being said, they're also going to be launching on, so obviously they're going to be on Ethereum, and they already have some Vol ETH going. My understanding on their site, they're actually going to be launching on Binance Chain, if I'm not mistaken, and also on Matic, which is big. They haven't launched them yet, but in that sense, that makes me very, very bullish if they're going to be able to, if you're going to be able to utilize this on all three chains and using their volatility tools to accomplish what you're shooting for. It makes me very, very bullish on this particular project. So I think I've rambled on enough. It's pretty late. Hopefully this all made sense. I kind of had to learn as I went. But I'm actually definitely going to be keeping my eye on this particular project, and I'm definitely going to be trying to get in on this June 14th public sale on Sushi. So, all right, guys, with that said, I appreciate you tuning in. I got a couple more videos coming out. Probably not tonight. It's about midnight right now, and I'm a little tired. So, with that said, have a good night. If you guys have any questions, or maybe I didn't clarify, or even maybe if I got something wrong, just drop a comment in the video, and I'll correct it, and we'll go from there. All right, have a good night, guys.